Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out today. My name is Jacqueline, and today we're going to be talking about combating gentrification. Gentrification, we want to talk about solutions for rent control and low-income inclusion. And I want my county to form a grassroots alliance to combat gentrification locally and statewide. So, what is gentrification? Gentrification is defined as an urban renewal of low-income communities and minority residents, where white buyers and investors purchase property with an intention to increase rents, to raise the property values, and to increase property tax of the existing owners, forcing them to have to relocate. And you can find that definition in the urbandictionary.com. I've reviewed the Gentrification American Report, which tracks statistics, and these statistics are from the U.S. Census year 2000. 20% of neighborhoods have experienced gentrification since 2000, compared to 9% in the back of the 1990s. Now, gentrification remain rare nationally, because we're talking about the metro cities, the metro areas. There's a total of 8% of neighborhoods nationally in these metro areas. But it's important to note that the census data from 2010 shows that white residents are increasing in their share of the population, and in many neighborhoods, and turning the neighborhood from majority minority to majority white. And you can read more about this in Ananon 2019, and that's governing.com data. Now, what qualifies an area to be considered as gentrified? Okay, there are four key demographic factors. Okay, so your median age changes, and normally that's 25. It's lower. The age becomes lower in that metro area. Okay, because you've now moved out that older generation, and then the neighborhood changes. It becomes white. And the minority population decreases. So you now have a larger white presence relative to that minority area. Education attainment. The majority of the folks that are moving in have at least a BA. So what happens when you have higher education? You also have higher incomes. And your household, the households are smaller. It's smaller than your regular metro area. They tend to have less children. So there are 5 gentrified areas. I'm going to talk about the top 5 in the United States right now. And number 1 is Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon is 58% gentrified. Washington, D.C. follows 51.9%. Minneapolis, 50%. Seattle, Washington is 50%. Atlanta, Georgia, 46.2%. Now, I reside in Sacramento, California, and gentrification is happening here as well. But in the entire list of all metro areas, cities, we are the last, okay? But in the last couple of years, we've increased by 30%. And that is because of the Bay Area, okay? That's becoming an area that they cannot any longer afford the rents or afford to buy property, so they tend to gravitate more towards Sacramento. And we in Sacramento have always had no housing. I mean, it's just not here. They've not built since the last war. I mean, it just doesn't happen, but they're building more now. 13 counties in California represent about 1 million people or 900,000 people, a little less than a million, 100,000 less than a million. And 62% of that 900,000 are considered low income, and they're living in gentrified neighborhoods. The homeless population grew by 30% in Sacramento County since 2015. And in one country, and also in Contra Costa, 75% of Redfin users moved to Sacramento County, yet county politicians, they opposed rent control, and so did the people of California. They spoke and said no to rent control. So I urge my fellow residents to form a grassroots alliance and to advocate for solutions to protect the population from homelessness and housing monopolies, okay? So gentrification is legal. It is definitely legal. So what can we do about that? You know, we, as advocacy, we can contact our local representatives regarding combating adverse effects of gentrification. We can implement and future new unit low income inclusion policies. So if you build a building, you set aside so many for the low income to qualify for, or we can implement and increase the build space with low income incentives. So that would mean that I would give you 5,000 square feet in order to build, but an additional 4,000 square feet in order that you can set aside for low income. So there are many, many solutions. I urge you to jump on the bandwagon with me, and let's go fight this animal. Thank you.
Thank you. Great.